أنا الكيتشن.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا اجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعا مرحوما وتفرقنا بعدها تفرقا مغفورا. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تسدد خطى أمراءنا في نيجيريا. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تبارك في حياتنا وفي حياة أولادنا وفي حياة أزواجنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم بارك في صناعتنا هذه. اللهم بارك في وطننا نيجيريا. اللهم بارك لنا في عالم الإسلام جميعا يا رب العالمين يا أكرم الأكرمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم يسر لنا أمورنا واستر عوراتنا وآمن رواتنا واحفظنا بما تحفظ به عبادك الصالحين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. اللهم آمين. جزاك الله خيرا. The next program on the agenda is a recitation from the Holy Quran. We are going to call our amiable director, the director of in Hadith Science Academy. So, Sheikh Madam Luqman Adil. Bismillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تلك الرسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض منهم من كلم الله ورفع بعضهم درجات وآتينا عيسى ابن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس ولو شاء الله ما اقتتل الذين من بعدهم ما جاءتهم البينات من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات ولكن اختلفوا فمنهم من آمن ومنهم من كفر ولو شاء الله ما اقتتلوا ولكن الله يفعل ما يريد. يا أيها الذين آمنوا والكافرون هم الظالمون. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. صدق الله.
Allahu Akbar. Barakallahu fiqh. That's the beautiful recitation from the Holy Quran from the director of Bin Ali Science Academy. May Allah reward him abundantly. Amen. The next program on the agenda is a Shia posting welcoming address. So we are going to call our mother, the FCT Shia Abiza Shia posting, to give us the welcoming address. You are highly welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. I guess we all know what brought us here today. And I'm going to be having the welcome address in terms of questioning. From my right, the first man looking at me directly, why are we here? Bismillah. Yes, you. Why are we here? If you cannot tell me why you are here, how do I welcome you? It's not possible. Yes, if my first staff could not do that, training? Okay, proper training. I'm not sure and I'm sure. There are two versions of the answers. Now let me come again. I'm going to ask three people before continuing the opening remark or welcome address as they name it. Now start looking at me with that cap. Stop looking at the back. Why are we here?
We are here for
Teachers Day. Ordinarily, is this FCT Teachers Day? Hey! Okay. I've agreed and not agreed. Have to?
Yes.
FCT? Okay, that's 50-50. Let's take it in that form. My sister in zebra color, hijab, whatever. Yes, why are we here? Muslim Association of Mashallah. Today is today. Welcoming the teacher. I mean, the one welcoming. Is that why you are here? Teachers Day, welcoming. 40 over 50, 40 over 100. Finally, yes, you can at me. Sister, stop you. Second row, last lady. So behind, yes. Why are we here? Why are we teachers? We could do that in our various schools, even yesterday, even 2 days back, or even do it tomorrow. Why is it today? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On this note, I've heard from some of us, some of you got it right, and some did not. Today is World Teachers Day. And in another version, we call it International Teachers Day. And what do we do on that day? We appreciate our good, outstanding teachers. And that's the purpose of you being here. We have seen that all these years, you have been loyal to your different schools. You have been up and doing. You are very hardworking. You never relented. So we deemed it necessary. We waited for today to be able to celebrate you publicly and openly. It will have been done in your school. Some schools celebrate their teachers during speech and prize giving. Am I right? So, but this is public. You will even be too delighted to have yourself here being awarded from your school. So if you are one of the recipients for today's award, I want you to continue doing what is good. Please, continue to do what is good, because as a teacher, you know what to do. Our team, I want to just enlighten you, our team for this year is teachers as parents in the school. If you are asked to give lecture on this, I think you can say much. We have parents and we have teachers, but we said teachers as parents in the school. That's the theme for this year, FCT Army's Conference of Independent International Day. But for the national global theme, it is transformation of education begins with teachers. So do not say you don't know. If they ask you outside, what is the theme for this year 2022 World Teachers Day? Tell them, transformation of education begins with teachers. So you are all welcome to this occasion. And I'm delighted to have all of you, and we pray that the lectures, the gift, everything are going to be well with you. And I pray that Allah will continue to safeguard you, be with every one of you. As you go back to your respective school, be proud, be more proud that the school has been proud of you, proud of yourself to do more. Thank you very much. On this note, I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks so much for the wonderful speech, man. May Allah reward you abundantly. The next program on the agenda is the lecture. The topic is that teachers as parents in school. And we have our renowned, distinguished and amiable lecturer among our midst. So, by the grace of God, I'm going to hand over the mic to him now, which we should try to be attentive as much as possible. Our distinguished lecturer will give us the lecture for today's program. So, it's no one but Mr. Let me call him Prof. Saeed Adegoka. You are highly welcome, sir. Well,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I seek refuge in Allah from the evils of my souls, and I seek refuge in Allah from the evils of Shaitan. I begin in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent. In Alhamdulillah, indeed all praises are due to Allah. Nahmaduhu, and as such we praise Him. Wa nasta'inuhu, we glorify Him. وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شُرُورِ أَنفُسِنَا. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of our souls. وَمِنْ سَيِّئَاتِ أَعْمَالِنَا, and from the dear consequences of our actions. مَنْ يَهْدِهِ اللَّهُ فَلَا مُضِلَّ لَهُ. I say with full certainty that to whomsoever Allah has guided, none can misguide. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ فَلَا هَادِيَ فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ. And to whomsoever Allah has allowed to go astray, وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. I testify that there is no deity of worship except Allah. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a messenger and the servant of Allah. Today, I find myself fortuitous to stand right in front of all of us here to deliver a speech on teachers should be parents in schools. And I'm going to start with a very small anecdote. A story about Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, Salahuddin Yusuf al-Ayyubi. There was a carpenter at a time, and this particular carpenter knew Masjid al-Aqsa, Jerusalem, was being controlled by Christians. And he knew in his mind that the rightful owners of Jerusalem, of Masjid al-Aqsa, were Muslims. This man was a carpenter, and right where he started pondering on what can I do to make an effort in the conquest of Jerusalem. So he was a carpenter, he could not hold a sword, he could not fight, he could not conquer. So what did he do? He only did a thing. He used what he has mastered, the art of carpentry, to make a fantastic pulpit. We all know the mimbar, right? We all know mimbar. He created a mimbar out of walnuts. He put walnuts together and created a very beautiful mimbar. After the creation of this mimbar, a lot of people started coming to him. Sir, we want to buy this mimbar for our masjid. Then he responds every time they come and tells them this mimbar is for Masjid al-Aqsa. As of the time he was saying this masjid was meant for Masjid al-Aqsa, was a time that even if you profess Islam and you get close to Masjid al-Aqsa, you will be killed. But somebody created a pulpit out of walnuts for Masjid al-Aqsa. For years, people kept on coming. We will pay more than this amount. Give us this pulpit. And he responds all the time, this pulpit is meant for Masjid al-Aqsa. Later on in 1187, Masjid al-Aqsa was conquered. It was conquered by Salahuddin Yusuf ibn Ayyubi. Then after the conquest of Masjid al-Aqsa, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi himself traveled down to where this mimbar was, and he met the carpenter that made the mimbar, and asked him, I want to buy this mimbar. He said, I'm not selling this mimbar, it is for Masjid al-Aqsa. He said, yes, I have conquered Masjid al-Aqsa, and I'm buying this mimbar for Masjid al-Aqsa. So he said, and I also have a question for you. What is your question? He said, my question is, what motivated you to make a mimbar for Masjid al-Aqsa as of a time where no Muslim can even get close to Masjid al-Aqsa? He said he only wanted to play his own little role in the conquest of Masjid al-Aqsa. And this his own little role was the fame the mimbar gathered, was the motivation for Salahuddin al-Ayyubi to go and join the army. That me, I will conquer this Masjid al-Aqsa for you. Then Salahuddin al-Ayyubi enrolled in the army, became a soldier, became a commander, later on became the king himself. From the motivation of a carpenter. The carpenter did the little he could, and Allah granted the little he could victory to Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. And this particular mimbar was taken, and it was taken straight to Masjid al-Aqsa, and it was the first mimbar they used after that conquest. The little things we do counts. And that was why Margaret Merz once said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has. So no matter how little that effort is, make that effort. It's even said in one of the narrations of the Prophet ﷺ that even when the world is about to come to an end, he said, if you have a little seed in your hand, still plant it. Even when the entire world is coming to an end, you have a little seed in your hand, still plant it. Even when you are sure that you might not harvest it, still plant it. Allah might grant you victory through just that small thing. This was the story I wanted to use to start, and Alhamdulillah, I hope we all got the message. Did we?
Yes.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Just on this particular quote of Margaret, tons of books have been written to explain what she meant. So we should never doubt that we are small. Our thoughts don't count. Who are we to speak? We should keep on speaking and doing the good we can. Only Allah grants victory. And for we as Muslims, we should never concern ourselves about results. It is the Western orientation that says we should be result-oriented. Results are not in our hands. What is in our hand is strategic planning and commitment to execution. The result itself is completely out of our league. It's in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you make a mistake, you did not get a result you wanted, don't look at the results. Go back to your planning. Did I plan well? Was I committed to the execution of my plans? That is where your problem will be, not in the results, because the results are completely out of our hands. Secondly, whatever the planners had in mind when they said teachers should be parents in schools must be a thought that teachers should be transformational leaders. This teaching profession, when we were in primary, secondary school, we usually have this debate where they say teachers and doctors, which one is more important? I say you are committing a sacrilege. There is no profession that can be put in the same line with teachers, except if you want to make recourse to mentors and their mentees. Teachers are not first among equals. They are the mentor among their mentees. They are the tutors among their tutees. They are the teachers among their students. And this is the only profession that unites all the prophets. Some of the prophets made steels. They were bending irons. Some of the prophets were herdsmen. Some of the prophets were traders. But all the prophets were teachers. And the best of these teachers was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that met Abu Bakr, who was just a trader, and turned him to the leaders of nations. He was the one that met Umar ibn Khattab and turned Umar ibn Khattab to the leaders of nations. He was the one that taught Uthman ibn Affan. Uthman ibn Affan was a trader, and he turned that trader to the leaders of nations. He met Umar ibn Khattab, who was a trader. He was also a herdsman. At the same time, he was also a professional wrestler. But when he encountered this fantastic teacher, he became the leader of nations. The Prophet ﷺ was the one who met Khalid ibn Walid, who was fighting for the complete extermination of Islam. But when he fell under the tutelage of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he became one of the greatest commanders the world has ever seen. Not until Umar ibn Khattab removed him, he was one of the best commanders. And the Prophet said, any group that goes into war against Khalid ibn Walid can never be successful. That was what the Prophet turned this man into. The Prophet ﷺ was the one who met Talha ibn Ubaydullah. He met Talha as a trader, but at the end of the day, Talha, during the time of Muawiyah, became the governor of Syria. And Syria then was almost 10 times the size of Syria today. It was the transformational leadership and teaching techniques of the Prophet that converted all these people. It was the Prophet ﷺ, when he met Abu Ubaidah al-Jarrah. Abu Ubaidah was one of the poorest of the companions. But when he encountered the Prophet, he became the governor of Levant. And Levant today is almost bigger than West Africa. They went to the school of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and going to that school they became transformed. And it has been said in communication that we have speakers who are informational speakers. They just dish out information to their students. We have teachers who are inspirational speakers. They only inspire their students. We have teachers who are motive teachers. They only motivate their students. and we have teachers who are transformational teachers. Those are the teachers that are not concerned about income but about outcome. They are concerned about the future of the Ummah, they are concerned about the future of Nigeria, and they know that whatever they decide of their students today will determine nothing short of the future of Nigeria, of the future of Africa, and the future of the entire globe themselves. Those are the teachers that work to become transformational teachers. And if you want to be a parent in school, you need to be a transformational teacher first. And I will be giving like 5 techniques that can convert us from being an informational teacher to a transformational teacher. Please, do we understand what I just said? No. Thank you. So we need to, the Prophet is our model. And the Prophet ﷺ, we could see the way he converted people, the way he transformed people from the left straight to the right hand path. Teaching is a profession for professionals. A host of us, because we were good students, we think we can be good teachers. No. You don't say because you are a good patient, you can be a good doctor. You don't say because you have built 10 houses, you can become an architect. You don't say because you've checked 20 checkbooks, you can become an accountant. You don't say because you were there when they were building your house, through that experience you can become an engineer. The profession of teaching should be done by professionals that have the passion for it. And being a professional in this context is not being a professional by taking a diploma, by taking a degree in education. It's about being passionate about education. It's about having an insatiable appetite for knowledge. One of our scholars, Dr. Sharafuddin Raji, once said, anybody who teaches but does not read and learn will teach nonsense. Because you can't offer what you don't have. It's like if I promise you 10 million naira, just go and just be laughing that this guy is deceiving himself. Because even me, I don't have 10 million naira. So the knowledge you want to pass across to people must be something you have an overflow of. So teaching should be done by those with passion for teaching and those who have insatiable appetite for knowledge. Those who want to know every time. Those who want to know at least something about everything and everything about something. Those are the people that are teachers. And that is why the model for all teachers are the prophets. Prophet Musa was sent as a teacher to the Banu Israel. He was the one teaching them. Prophet Isa was sent to the people of Israel. He was their teacher. So if you are a teacher, you should expect all sorts of questions and you should be prepared for answers. You should prepare answers for almost all those questions. Teaching should be done by professionals with passion. And the second thing, when I saw the topic that also came to my mind, is if teachers are to be parents in schools, then who will be the parents to the teachers? School heads, school owners. So school owners also must be grandparents to the students, and they must be parents to the teachers. How can school owners be parents to the teachers? Number one, good condition of service. Your teacher stays in Suleja, his school is in Wuse, he travels 1 hour, 30 minutes down to the school, he's already tired. How will he be productive? How will he be productive? This time last year, I was at Eagle Square. One of our schools was invited to come and get the award for the best secondary school in Nigeria, Later International College in Ondo State. So we went with the proprietors of the school. And the owner of the school died 2 months before the award. So before his death, I was asking him, I said, sir, what is the success for all these achievements you have accrued in your school? And he gave me one secret. And I will share that secret here today. He said, most school owners focus on pleasing students. He said, I focus on pleasing my teachers. He said, if my teachers are comfortable, they will make students comfortable. No matter what is on ground, the facilities I have for my students, once my teachers are not comfortable, they will make the school uncomfortable for students. He said, that is my secret. Sometimes I take loans to pay their salaries. In Ondo State, this school has a vice principal that earns 370,000 naira a month. And this is in a place where you can get 3 bedroom flat for 100,000 naira. So where will you go? Some of them have served for 20 years, some of them 25 years as teachers. Why? Because they felt that they too were under a certain parent, and the parent was the owner of the school. The day he died, I went to his burial. During his wake, he was a Christian. And he said, the vice principal was talking, he was given the microphone to talk. And he said, before, I was never scared of dying. Why? Because I know that if I die, this man will take care of all my children. He said, but now he's dead. I pray more now that I must not die. And I don't play with anything that can kill me. He said, because the person that I was banking on, that was making my mind to be at rest, is gone. The owner of the school is gone. He said, now I'm living alone. So nothing must happen to me. It was the assurance the owners of the schools gave to him that made him he has spent now 20 years in that school, and probably 17 years in the capacity as the vice principal academics. Why? Because the owner of the school was serving as a parent in his own life. He said when there are meetings like this, he calls upon, he will say, if you know you spent 5 years in my school, stand up. People will stand up. If you know you built a house, sit down. If you know you purchased a car, sit down. If you know you've opened a shop for your wife, sit down. Then they start asking, give me microphone. Don't you want to be successful? And he has to say, he says, to be successful in a place I am is compulsory. If we have teachers that trust their school owners to this extent, they too will give their all to the students and to the betterment of the school. So the strategy, and he also told me something that I will share with the school owners before I go to the teachers. He said, I budget their salary before budgeting anything else. From the school fees I will get, I budget for their salaries first. I budget for their well-keep first, before I budget for anything else. Because they are the ones that will make my school comfortable. And I'm a product of that school. The school was founded in 1992. There was a time we were living, our classes were inside woods, plants. But we were getting results in competitions as best in the country. Why? The teachers were committed to teaching us. The teachers were pouring out their lives into our lives. Some of them had other opportunities, but they were enjoying more than the salary that they were receiving. And there's a research that was conducted that validated that nobody has ever left the work because of salary. They said people leave a work because they are not appreciated. People leave their work because they feel they are disgruntled by the work, but nobody leaves solely because of salary. So the way we manage our employees is what makes them stay or what makes them leave. I think I will leave that for the school owners. You want teachers to be parents, you need to be grandparents. And you need to place premium on them. You need to focus more on teachers than you are even focusing on students. Because you won't be there all the time. It's those teachers that will be there all the time. Let them do your work as though it is their work. And there's an adage in Yoruba that says the way you do other people's work is the way you finally do your own work. So let them have that kind of motivation. Out of the 5 techniques I want to give for our teachers to be a parent to students in the school is learn how to listen. In communication, listening alone takes 80% of communication. But we focus more on talking than listening. That is why we misunderstand ourselves and we miscommunicate all the time. Listening takes 80% of communication. That was why Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said the 5th habit is seek to understand, then to be understood. Only foolish people seek to be understood, then to understand. Effective people seek to understand, then to be understood. Their focus is in understanding what you are saying, not for you to understand them. And that is the best way for us to listen. Good teachers that want to be transformational teachers must acquire the skill of listening to their students. And I will give you a technique for listening. This technique is adjudged to be the best technique for listening in the world, and it is called mirroring. If I tell you something that, Madam Abdul Basit, I love this your white clothes and your blue combination, I love it a lot. After saying that, Madam Abdul Basit will respond, Said, do you mean you love the color combination of my clothes being white and blue? You know, he has repeated he has paraphrased what I have said. If there is any miscommunication, I would have said, no, it is not even the blue I like, it's just the white. I would have corrected it. So in our meetings, we must make sure that there is mirroring and paraphrasing, so that we know that we are passing the information, and those we are passing the information to understand us. And there is a part of the brain called the limbic cortex of the brain. The limbic cortex of our brain is a part of the brain that controls our emotion, our desires and wants. This limbic cortex, for children, it grows into maturity for girls around 11, 12. But for men, it grows into maturity around 15, 14. Let's hold that on our right hand. Second hand, there is a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is a part of the brain that controls thinking and judgment. This part of the brain does not go into maturity, both in male and female, until mid-20s. Can we say a mismatch? SubhanAllah. Can we say a mismatch? Allah Basit, people are not responding. Chairperson. Can we say a mismatch? Yes. Your appetite, your desire, the desire of a 30-year-old woman, an 11, 12-year-old girl already has developed it. But the prefrontal cortex of the brain in charge of thinking and judgment of a 30-year-old woman, our own is not yet mature. Can we say that there's a mismatch? Yes. There's a great mismatch. So it is for us that are adults to help them augment that mismatch until their own also develops. So you can't leave children on their own. You can't say, I trust my girl. You'll be disappointed. You can't say, I trust my boy. You'll be disappointed. So one of the techniques for listening, like I said, is we need to be a good listener. Number one, when somebody tells you, I will give you four steps that you will take. If you want to say no to a young person's suggestion and you don't want that person to take you as an enemy, you want to, so they will be coming with lots of ideas that don't make sense. That's my point. They will say, sir, I think we can do this. It's the best they can come up with, but it does not make sense. So how do you say no to them without them feeling offended? Number one is mirroring. After they've said whatever they want to say, the idea they want to share with you, mirror the idea back to them. It will show to them that actually you listened to them. Nobody's writing. Okay. Okay. So the first step is mirroring. You mirror back whatever they've told you. Do you mean this is what you are saying? Did I get your idea correctly? Once they say yes, I get your idea correctly. You want to say no at the end of the day, but you don't just go to no as a good listener. The second step you take is you state what unites. What they've said, there will be some elements that can unite both of you. That in truth, I agree to some extent with what you've said. I also believe this, and this. You've stated what unites. Number three, you state the strength in what they've said. That it is even true, I've heard this thing you've said, I've heard it from somebody before, and I believe this about it. Then you now use however, you don't use the word but. Because once you use the word but, you've condemned everything that person has said. However, I disagree. You've shown that person empathy. You've shown that person is not a fool. That is how to be parents to students in schools. You don't go straight to no. The next time, somebody that has rebuffed your idea 2-3 times, why will you go back to that person? But somebody that listened to you, that mirrored back what you've said, that stated the strength in what you've said, meaning you are not foolish, that also gave you some of the things that unite both of you before saying no, I'm not using but. That person will come back to you the next time he has another idea. So the person will not stand aloof of you. Please, do we understand?
Yes, sir.
Do we understand? So that is for being a good listener. If we want to be parents to our children in school, we need to be fantastic listeners. Another one is be a role model. When the Prophet ﷺ, when one of the companions came to meet Aisha radiallahu anha, and said, Aisha, what is the behavior of the Prophet? He said his behavior is the Quran. He did not start describing. Why? Because what the Prophet was telling them to do was the same thing he was doing. And that was why in the definition of the Quran, it's Al-Quran huwa kalamullah. The Quran is the word of Allah. The second condition for it to be Quran is Allah nazzali ala Muhammadin. It was revealed upon Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The scholar said it is intentional and it knows it was revealed to him. Because if it were to be revealed to him, that means the laws in the Quran were not binding upon him. But it was revealed upon him. So his life was the full exhibition, was Quran in practice. The Prophet's life was Quran in practice. So we as teachers, we can't tell our students to do something if we want to be their parents and do something else. We can't tell them not to use vocal words and we use them. We can't tell them to read and we are sleeping. We can't tell them to be morally upright and we are morally bankrupt. We can't tell them to be just and we are unjust. Whatever we tell them, they should have seen it in us first, exhibiting that particular character, so that it also motivates them to do the same. And it has been said, even validated by neuroscience, that children do what they see, not what they hear. They do more of what they see, not what they hear. So we need to focus that we ourselves are emblems of what we want in our children, in our students. And this is also for teachers, for the school owners also. School owners, one of the greatest mistakes we make in molding children is that we become reactionary. A child does something bad, we say, don't you know that thing is not good? No. If you actually want to be a transformational leader, you should, without that bad thing happening, you should have called your learners. You should have a moral talk time. When you pick a topic on character and teach them. Not that you'll be teaching them after they've committed an offense. And since it is social science, I will ask us here. When you do something bad and somebody is correcting you, do you feel like listening at that time? No. You feel like, you shall say whatever you are saying. You are not ready to take the correction. So we should not be reactionary. If we want to be parents to students in schools, we should have a book with topics, the morals we want our children to inculcate and be teaching them without them making mistakes first. It can be every Thursday, it can be every Friday. We bring in a professional that speaks to these students. It can be kindness, it can be cheerfulness, it can be first impression, greeting. Not that, won't you greet him? You will greet that person, the next time you will not greet anybody again. But the day you bring all of them together and you have a ta'aleem with them on greeting, you will see that it will make more impact in their lives. So we should not be reactionary. The prophet sometimes is reactionary, but the prophet, like I said, is the best of teachers. His reaction is usually different. And it's a book that Professor Duba is currently writing, Tell Don't Hear. He said, Anas bin Malik, at the time, The prophet sent him. It was like, he was a son to the prophet at the time, but Allah said, it is not your son. So he was like a houseboy in the house of the prophet. The prophet sent him on an errand. And he said, when the prophet sent him on that errand, in his mind, I'm not going. I want to go and play. So he went to where children were playing. When he got to where children were playing, he started playing. The prophet was expecting him, the prophet did not see him. The prophet now started looking for him. When the prophet saw him, if it were to be you, you will say, have you gone to where I sent you? Isn't that the question on your mind? There are questions we ask our children that turn them to a liar. We want to put them in a corner so that we can be happy with, I got you. But is that the aim? That is not the aim. When the prophet saw it, the prophet said, will you now go to where I sent you? The prophet did not say, have you gone? If you say, have you gone, it becomes defensive. Subhanallah. Are we getting what I'm saying? If you say, have you gone to where I sent you, it becomes defensive. But the prophet now said, will you go to where I sent you now? He said, it was that time he asked me that question that I now became ready to go to where he sent me. Can you see the way transformational leaders, the way they ask their questions? They don't destroy people because they just want to be happy. So it's part of being the role model, part of being a role model to our students. I've already mentioned this. Give constructive criticism. And I've already stated 4 steps to give constructive criticism. Whatever that person says, you mirror it back to that person. You state what you like, you state what, you give strength to what he has said, then you say no, but you don't use the word but, use however. This other one I want to say is also scientifically backed. Transformational leaders do not commend results. Transformational leaders commend efforts. If you commend the efforts, if you commend the results of your children so highly, you are breeding a child that will soon become arrogant. Do you understand what I just said? Yes. We commend results. This time you really put in a lot of efforts to have these results. So next time that child will be enthusiastic towards putting in more efforts. Because now he knows that it is because of his efforts he's getting these results. But you are very brilliant, you are a master piece, you are astonishing student. You'll be bringing an arrogant student. And later on, he thinks the result must come to him because he's special. So the effort might even start to reduce. But when you link his success to effort, it increases the effort and it gets better. It gets better. So transformational parents, transformational leaders commend effort, not results. And you know another reason why you should not commend results? It is not in anybody's hands. It's in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is in our hands, like I mentioned earlier, is strategic planning and commitment to implementation. Strategic planning and commitment to implementation. The result is not in our hands. If the result is not what we hoped we would have achieved, go back to your planning. There must be a fault in your planning. And if there's no fault in your planning, you go back to the implementation. Whether you did not implement as you've designed or as you've planned to implement. This other one I'm also going to say, for us teachers to become transformational leaders and transformational teachers and parents to our students, we need to have zero tolerance for discrimination. For those who have been a teacher for decades here, I'm sure they have regrets. A father, the way we've been configured, a father will like a certain son or a certain daughter more than others. But it is your effort, it's something you must put in effort for them never to notice. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Your mother might have the preference of a child over other children, but they must put in effort never for anyone to notice. The same thing, those excelling children, naturally you will be attracted to them more, but never allow other students to know that you are exhibiting favoritism. You know why? The school I finished from in my secondary school, the richest product we have was one of the dullest in the class. One of my mates, the richest in my own set, he has spent like 8 to 9 years in the US now. Was not just below average, he was one of the worst. But today, he can buy me 20 times. Till today, I still have knowledge than him. But wallahi, if you can buy me, that's how much you want to sell yourself. There was one time, one of our former teachers had a financial issue. He was in Kano. Then, because he used to see my activities, he thought I had money. So he sent me that social problem, I should help. You know what I did? I just called this my friend in the US. One of our teachers have problem. He has contacted me back with, you send money, let me send to him. And he sent me a reasonable amount, and I forwarded to the person. You don't know the children that will be successful. That secret is in the hands of Allah, so you cannot discriminate. You will be frustrated sometimes because some of those children will frustrate you, but you can never discriminate. That is why you are a professional. You can never discriminate. One of the dullest people in my 1 year senior is in Abuja here. The day our proprietors came to Abuja, we spent more than 1 million naira hosting them for 2 days. Me, even if you give me 1 year notice, can I host you with 1 million? So then if they are discriminated, and there was a bit of discrimination because he was asked to repeat in our school, so he left our school and stopped education. But fortunately, in 2019, the owner of our school came to Abuja and apologized to him. Said, I am afraid that I feel responsible that I was the one that stopped your education. This person I'm saying has not stepped before walls of university, but is the richest amongst our products. So Oga apologized to him 2 years after Oga died. So, and he took the apology. And part of the apology was, if you decide to go to school, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, I will pay your school fees. He said, it's a debt I owe you. So we can't discriminate. We'll be pushed to discrimination. But at all times, all our students must have it at the back of their mind that we have their best interest at heart. It's like, I will not look at the movement now. It's like they say, you can't love your 3 or 4 wives equally. It is natural. You can't even love 4 children equally, so that's not a point. So what the struggle you now need to embark on is to make sure nobody knows. That love only exists in your mind. You adjust to them. Whatever you buy for them is the same. The time you spend with them is almost the same. The same thing for your students if you will be parents to them. You can't favor one over the other. And that is justice. Please, do we understand? Another technique that can make us parents to our students in school is for us to prioritize the child's learning. Prioritize the child's learning. You should prioritize the child's acquisition of knowledge. Anytime the child is with OCP, take them back to their knowledge. Anytime they come to you, they have free time they want to discuss, take them back to something that can help them. Stop talking about other teachers. Stop complaining about the school. Move them forward. You know why? Now, like I told you, their prefrontal cortex is not yet fully mature. When it matures, they will know the teachers that actually helped them. And you that you are favoring them today, that you are not pushing them to do the good, to do the best they can, they will remember that, this teacher almost destroyed my life. You might enjoy it today. In Abuja, we have rich parents. Their parents might give you 100,000, 200,000, buy you gifts. But what will those children remember you for? When they are now mature, what will they remember about you? Will it be that man that indulges us, that man that does not discipline us, that man that almost faults us, or even that man that spoils me, that man that destroyed me? Is that what we'll be remembered for? So we should always have the end in mind. Later on, what will these children remember about me? Will they remember that I was the one that wanted to spoil them? Will they remember that I was the one that taught them how to gossip? Will they remember that I was the one who almost destroyed their life? Parents will never destroy the life of their children intentionally, but we are professionals. And I was on NTA at the time. I was speaking about the importance of family. And one of the things I said is, accountants read books about accountancy. Engineers study books about engineering. Why don't parents read books about parenting? Did you inherit parenting? No. You need to go and study about parenting because that's the most important thing in your life, your children. So we need to study also about parenting. If not, we parent the wrong way. Some of us will be parented the wrong way already. So if we don't want our children to inherit that wrong, we need to be intentional and also study about parenting. Thanks to sociology, thanks to psychology, thanks to neuroscience, thanks to the social science, there are books you can now read on parenting, and there are books we should read on parenting. Another one I would also want to mention is in terms of our communication with our students, and it's called the Albert Mehrabian model of communication. Albert Mehrabian model of communication. Albert Mehrabian is a professor of communication and psychology, and I want everybody to please take this. In his model, if I'm in class, I would have told all of us to stand up. In the model, according to Albert Mehrabian, communication is divided into three. This oral communication is divided into three. Number one, oral communication, the words coming out of our mouth. Number two, tone of voice. Number three, body language. The number one upon 100, the words that come out of our mouth only constitute 7% of communication. Our tone of voice constitutes 38% to communication, while our body language constitutes 55% to communication. Which one do we focus more often? The words, 7%. It's like someone coming to our sisters and saying, I love you. Will you believe that? No man does not love you, will beat you. Why? Because his tone of voice and his body language contradicts the words. So it is 93 against 7. But if somebody comes to you, I hate you. What does he say? He does not hate you, he likes you. So because 93% has contradicted 7%. So we as teachers that wants to be parents to our children, our students in schools, we need to understand this model. We communicate with our tone of voice, and that is the only way communication can be effective. When you communicate with your body language, with your tone of voice and the words coming out of your mouth, your communication becomes effective. But if you do otherwise, your communication is not effective. Please, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm back in class. Who can mention the 3 key components and tell me the ratings in percentage? Yes, sir.
Oral communication, 7%. Our tone of voice, 38%. Our body language, 55%.
Good. Thank you very much. Let me give another question. Who can exhibit the contradiction and also exhibit the harmony in the two? You exhibit how 7 contradicts 93, and you also exhibit how everything becomes effective appropriately. Do we understand the question?
Yes.
Okay, please, who can? Adia, please can somebody help me with the microphone to her?
It's okay.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Maimuna, I told you I don't like this thing you're doing. Stop putting your books on the floor. It's wrong. I'll beat you next time. Do you understand? That is contradicting the oral and...
We should still put our books on the floor next time. Yes. We will put more than books.
So if I say, Memuna, this thing you have done is wrong. Don't do it again. Don't put your books on the floor. You to get missing. Do you understand? That's the second.
Okay, now show us the one that harmonizes the three. You've done it? Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
that is the second one. Second.
Thank you. Another person from the men. Sir? Sir.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. It goes like this. The first impression, I will just. Why did the door open? Then the second one, Musa, the door was open. What happened? So I think I have passed a message here. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, did you get the message? Is it effective or not? Please help us with that. So, you need to combine these three together for your communication to be effective. Once you don't combine these three together, and under body language, we have eye contact. And you can see this in the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They said whenever you say Assalamu alaikum to him, he turns his entire face to you with a smile and shake your hand. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He does not say Wa alaikum salam to Allah or Wa alaikum salam. No. He turns his entire face to you, smiles, then give you the handshake. So that's part of communication, eye contact. Another one is your posture. Most of our teachers have low self-esteem. You can't parent with that. You can't parent with low self-esteem. You can only parent with high self-esteem. For some of the schools here, parents of our children are billionaires. Don't compete with that. It is knowledge you have. If their parent could offer what they are coming to the school to get, they won't come to the school. So your self-esteem needs to be intact. If not, you can't parent students in schools. Do we agree on this? Yes. Please, I want somebody to share a scenario. Probably not you, hypothetically, please. Of somebody that is having that problem of self-esteem in the school, and because of that, he does teaching. We must have that experience. Those students sometimes will want to bring you down. How do you stand up? Even some school owners, when some parents call them on phone, they forget not to talk of a teacher. So how do you parent in the school when you have low self-esteem? Anybody that wants to speak on that? Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I think that happens to me actually. I'm a math teacher, so I was teaching a student. Now, I was teaching a student, and the student, his father is a professor in mathematics, and I taught him a particular concept, and he was like, oh, my dad has taught me another way of doing things. And I said, fine, I know your dad is a professor, but this method is also obtainable internationally. And because probably we run a British curriculum, I don't know, probably the father will not get himself acquainted with that kind of methodology. So he said, the student was like, oh, I don't think what you're doing. So I said, no, you know what is going to happen with this? Show your dad this methodology. And a teacher came to me and was like, Mr. Malani, do you know that his father is a professor? I said, and so? I'm a math teacher here. If he's a professor, I'm a professor in my class also. So let him come. So the man called me on phone, and I think I was able to school him that your method is right, and this method also is also right. It's just two different ways to skin a rat. So I think what you need to do next time, sir, is that you research more, or perhaps give this teacher that esteem to your kid, that what we are teaching them is not something that is out of point, and perhaps you let your student to appreciate us. And I think since then, I became one of the favorite teacher of that student, and we've been in a good time. And I use that methodology also to correct that other teacher. Don't give room for them. Although you have to make sure that what you are doing is right. But when you are sure that what your methodology is right, don't allow any parent to put you down for what you know that is right. So I think one of those things that affect teachers is that they are too scared of probably making mistake, or scared of the parent because probably they are rich, or most of them are professors or high personnel, and they feel like, oh, I have to conform to whatever they are doing. And this is my experience in a nutshell. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Quickly, I would just like to make a comment. That's used now. Even if that person won't get angry naturally, he might get angry. If he says his dad has said so and so thing, establish his dad as an expert. Make him happy. That even for me, I've heard of your dad as a professor of mathematics. I would even love to meet him and also learn from him. You are cultivating that child. And it's one of the problems we have in Nigeria. This is outside the question. We want to harvest from a relationship before cultivating it. There's a contradiction. Yeah. You cultivate a relationship, then harvest it. So if you acknowledge his father, you now acknowledge yourself as an authority. You are not a professor in that class, of course, but I'm a professional mathematician. I'm a professional mathematics teacher, and I'm sure of this. So we need to, if we want to disagree with people, it's part of the 4 steps I've already mentioned. You need to acknowledge them and make them feel okay before you now bring what you actually disagree with. Your dad's method is okay. One of my students in one of the schools I worked at the time, his father is one of these activists he's a former senator, I won't mention his name. So there was a day the boy was talking, this. Me, I don't like his father, but I'm his son's teacher. So I said, your dad is an activist and he does it in a fantastic way. I commended the dad. From there, that boy was ready to listen to me. So my point is, as we teachers, our self-esteem can also be heightened by school owners. If you know you have a backup, no matter what happens, at least your mind will be at rest. But when the parent now comes, your own provider is also by your side, you are now in the middle. The boy said you did so thing. Next time, your self-confidence will be reducing until you think you are nothing. So I think the school owners also, teachers, before they can become parents to students in your classes, in your schools, they need to know that you have their back. Like the story I told of that vice principal that said he was ready to die at any time before because he knows the owner of the school has his own back. So thank you very much, sir, for sharing that. Do we have another person that wants to share? The reason why I have this time is Dr. Abdul Fattah is not here. So I have time to use. Any other person? Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. My own is it's actually from school, or it's linked to home. I am teaching learner that is in a different school. So it happens that the boy didn't do well in mathematics. So the parents were like, what happened? He didn't really do well in mathematics. What's the problem? So I asked him to bring the script. He was preparing for IGCSE that time. I checked and I realized a lot of mistakes from the marking. I explained to the boy why you did was actually correct, but I didn't really know what happened that your teacher marked you down. I made the observation to the mother. She said, okay, probably she will talk to the teacher. So I demanded to have the teacher number so that I will also talk to the teacher. I called the teacher. I explained all what I observed in the marking. At the beginning, the teacher was like, it's not possible. But you know, all these exams, you mark with marking guide or marking scale, except if you want to suffer yourself. That teacher admitted that she didn't really mark using the marking guide. She only probably used her own initiative to mark. So after that, I explained to the parents too. And then at the end of the day, everybody was happy. The teacher was able to explain to that student that this is actually what happened. That's my story.
Thank you very much, sir. I think that should suffice. The next one, we can also jot this down. 4 techniques to make a student that sees you as an opponent to become your friend. 4 techniques. 4 techniques to make a student that sees you as an opponent or as an enemy to become your friend. Number 1 technique. This technique was copied even in social science from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the first technique is return evil with goodness. Return evil with goodness. And this was exemplified in the life of the Prophet while the Prophet was in Mecca. The Prophet had a neighbor. This neighbor every morning has given to himself one assignment. I'm going to pack refuse dump and put it at the door of the Prophet. So this particular neighbor has been putting refuse dump at the doorstep of the Prophet for a very long time. And the Prophet never went to him to complain, why are you putting the refuse in front of my door? The Prophet will pack them every morning and go and dispose them rightfully. This happened for a long time. Then for 3 days, the Prophet did not see death in front of his door. Then he asked his companions, this my neighbor, I have not seen his hands for 3 days. Then they said, he's sick. I said, and you did not tell me? They said, this man has been making life uncomfortable for you. Why will I tell you? Then the Prophet visited them. The Prophet visited him and prayed for him. Then he became confused. That this man that I've been doing bad things to since all this time, how come he's coming to me and praying for me when I'm sick? Then he asked the Prophet, is it your religion that has ordered you to do this kind of thing? The Prophet responded, yes, and my religion has ordered me to even do more. That was how this particular man reverted to the fold of Islam. He became a Muslim. Why? Because the Prophet returned his evil with goodness. There are some of our students that we see that are frustrating us. Pick deliberate interest in them to bring them closer. You will see they will become one of your best friends. That is how we can be parents. You know why? Because you cannot give up if you are a parent. Parents can't give up on their children, no matter what they do. So if teachers should be parents to students in schools, they too cannot give up. You use this strategy, it is no longer working, you bring another one. The second technique is called the Benjamin Franklin's effect. The second technique is called the Benjamin Franklin's effect. Benjamin Franklin was a parliamentarian in the United States of America. And according to Benjamin Franklin, if he sees a parliamentarian that is in the other side and he wants to bring him to his own, wants to lobby him to his own side, you know what he does? He goes to them to ask them for something. But he mentioned in his write-up, don't ask for money, because people don't like giving money naturally. So he goes to, for example, he cited an example that there was a time he wanted to convert one of their opponents to a friend. He went to him and said, there was this book I saw with you, please can you borrow me that book? Imagine your enemy, somebody you take as an enemy, coming to you to borrow a book from you. What will happen? There's something called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when something the brain thinks the opposite of what the brain is used to comes to the brain. And what the brain tries to settle for the most is the easiest of it. You know, keeping enemy is more expensive than, is more stressful than keeping friends. So when Benjamin Franklin spoke with him to borrow him that book, he borrowed him the book. After borrowing him that book, we know the next thing that happened. That man started having a feeling that probably is not my enemy. So there are some students in our schools that perceive us as enemies. Go to them and ask them for something. Probably you have a note you want to write. Something, just ask them for a helping hand. And you will see that you'll be converting them to a friend day by day. The third technique is somebody that perceives you as an enemy, go to the person for advice. This happened with a lady. The mother gave birth to the lady, then dumped the lady with another woman. Then she went to marry someone else. When the lady was of age, the lady will hate the mother now, that she abandoned her. So now the mother wants to come back to the lady's life, but the lady keeps removing her. I don't want you, I don't want you. You know what the advice we gave to her was, go and ask for advice from your daughter on probably your marital issues. You know what happens when somebody comes to you and asks you for advice? Two things happen. Number one, you become flattered. So it takes an intelligence. Even if you are a senior, number one thing that happens, so it takes an intelligence. It's like when I was invited here. So they think I know I can deliver this speech. You become flattered. You know the second thing that happens, you become empathetic. And before you can become empathetic, what must happen before you can become empathetic? You need to put yourself in their shoes. So from there, that was how that girl started listening to the mother. And now they are friends. She kept on doing that thing. At least now they have something even the daughter wants to help her with. So it's the third technique is for you to go to them and seek advice. Number 4, buy them a gift. Men they know how to put down for women. But they don't, people, women don't do it for women, men don't do it for men. Whoever buys you a gift repeatedly, affection will start coming towards that person. Whoever that gives you gifts, most especially, and that was why, you see, the prophet has done everything. The prophet said, if somebody does good to you, do something better for that person. And if you can't, then say Jazakallah khair. But all of us will not Jazakallah khair. We don't try to do the first assignments we have. So, these are the 4 techniques. There are more techniques, but these are the 4 techniques with which you can turn an opponent to a friend. If you actually want to be parents to your children in schools, apply these 4 techniques to some of the students that perceive you otherwise. Please, I will give like 2-3 minutes. Who can share experience of a student that perceives a teacher or you in another light? And let's see how we can apply any of these techniques. Do we understand the question? Yes. Okay. Please, who wants to go? Adia wants to go. I don't want Malam Soli to be the one carrying it. If the provider starts carrying the microphone and the teachers are here.
Stand up.
Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to share an experience. So it's about a student in my class. So we had an issue, then I stood the girl up for like some time. So after the incident, we had 2 teachers in my class. So she kept working with me, even after I punished her for what she did wrong. And the management was like wondering what is happening. Like I punished her, but she was still very close to me. Like even the other teacher she doesn't want to work with the other teacher that's in the class. So like the management asked her, like, what is happening? You are still working with Mrs. Juma even after she punished you. He said yes. No, Mrs. Juma is very caring. I said, I put my head on the table. She come and ask me, what's wrong with you? Are you alright? Because I have stomach pain, she'll give me hot water and I will drink. I know she does not hate me. I did something very wrong. That's why she punished me. So I think make them your friend. They always show them niceness, like buy them gifts, show them that you are kind to them. They did something, even though you punish them, they'll still want to like be close to you because of the niceness.
Thank you. I think what I want now is who can hear what she has said. She's the one with the microphone, she's scared. Who can mirror what she has said? What she said just now, who can mirror? So that we see whether we understand this art of mirroring.
Try, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, always do the right thing.
Is that what she said? You can see there is miscommunication.
There's miscommunication.
No, you take the microphone.
Assalamu alaikum. I think what she said was, be caring to children and they will like you. They will not want to be bad for you.
Is that what she said? No. Ajia.
Assalamu by giving them advice, that is after the punishment, that you enlighten them back on what they did.
Is that what she said? No. Ajia.
What I understood from what she said is, when a child makes mistake and you correct that child, maybe you scold them probably or give them punishment, you shouldn't abandon the child. You should still show concern for the child when the child needs it. So this way the child will know that it's because I did something wrong, you punish me. It's not actually you hate me. I think that's what I'm saying.
Is that what she said? Yes. That was what she said. You still disagree?
Yeah, I disagree.
Now?
I disagree.
You disagree?
So in a simple form, there's an adage in Yoruba that says, when you scold a child with right hand, use the other hand to move her closer.
Okay. Do you still agree or you disagree?
I disagree. I disagree.
Okay, please come and give him the microphone. Maybe it's the one that has miscommunication. No. Thank you, bro. You can see me going. This is how we live our meetings and we don't even understand what I said.
Assalamu alaikum. What I understand from what she said is that there should be that relationship, already. So even after the punishment, already there was a rapport between them. Okay? So if from what she said that it was when she already punished the girl and the girl continued to be with her because of the history of the rapport between them. So that is what I get from her communication. That there should be an existing rapport and, yes.
Even me now, I say no to you.
Mashallah, I think maybe your question or the explanation is the issue. Because when you said, who can mirror what she has said?
I didn't say you should report what she said.
Exactly, that is the
mirror what she said.
Yeah, exactly. But you are supposed to talk to her that this is what you said. That is where I disagree with explanation that people are giving. People are giving explanation, not mirroring.
You are telling me, and I'm not the one that it was not my speech. It was her speech, so you mirror back to her, not to me. If you are in a meeting, Madam University and I, you said something, and I'm now facing Madam Sunday. Why mirroring? Is our communication effective? No. So that's where the problem is. So who can mirror now? Let me give it to a fresh hand. Or can there be a mirror in front of you and you go to somewhere else and mirror and use mirror? No. The mirror needs to be right in your front and you use it.
So,
but since you are a man, who are your guests?
Did wrong after punishing her and she's still coming close to you. Is that what you said?
Do we agree with him? Yes, alhamdulillah. That is mirroring. That is mirroring. And quickly, another role you need to play as a father, we still use it. Another role, if you want to be parents to your students in schools, never allow any child to go away thinking you hate them. Let them go away thinking you corrected them. Do you understand what I just said? Don't allow them go away thinking you hate them. Let them go away thinking you hated what they did. So you don't hate persons, you hate actions. Do we understand? As teachers, if you punish a child, explain to the child why you are punishing that child. Why what that child has done is wrong. And that is why if you want to visit a dentist, you know, treating the teeth can be very painful. But a dentist is a professional. He knows what is about to administer is painful. They smile all the time. Sometimes they will even buy you candy, they will buy you something to make that child comfortable. In truth, they are causing pain to the child, but it is to avert a bigger pain. You need to make that clear to any child you are punishing. And don't assume that child should understand. Their prefrontal cortex for judgment and thinking is not yet mature. So you should do a lot of explaining, a lot of explanation while punishing a child. Do we have any scenario this has happened before? Why you punish the child without explaining and the child thinks you hate him or hate her? Nobody. Nobody? Yes, ma'am. Cameraman, thank you. The child you just see you the next day will not greet you.
Alright, in my class we have a rule that at the end of a week, that is Friday, if you're able to complete your task, whatever is left for you, you have to complete it because Friday is our sports day and they love sports day. So if you don't finish your task before the sports day, you have to complete it. While others are outside, you will be inside doing your task. So there was this child, so she doesn't like to work. Just want to play and laugh everywhere and everything. So we keep telling her, like, on Thursday, we always remind them, I remember tomorrow is Friday and you don't finish your work, you are going to have to do it during sports. Others are outside. So she was like, you're a good teacher. Why would I be inside and I'm not always outside? All those things. So like, I have to explain to her that I'm not a bad teacher. It is a rule that we already put down. If you don't finish your task before the end of the week, you're going to have to do it when others are outside having fun. So that's, then she went home, she told her mom she didn't go out for sports today because then mom called me that Khadijat was not very happy and she got home. Then I had to tell the mom that this was transferred between us. So the mom had to explain to her. Even I could explain to her, but she's very adamant. Like she doesn't deserve to be inside when others are outside playing and everything. So by the end of the day, so that to the equilibrium, she knows that she has to finish her work before Friday.
Okay, thank you. I will quickly say something on this. And it is one thing I learned from a course I took with, on fundraising with Indiana University. And the thing is, school owners should have rules. So that it is not the teacher that is deciphering rules to apply at a time. They already have a policy that if you don't finish on Friday, by Friday you won't go for sports. So it is not her, it is the school's rule that is against her, against that girl. If we don't have rules and everybody has the latitude to pick when to implement this and what type of punishment to administer, there will be a problem. They will start hating individuals. But if we all have agreed on a set of rules, it becomes difficult for you to attack me. And one of the scenarios was a person founded this company, and by the time he founded that company, he allowed volunteers to come and work for him. So some of his friends came. So later on when they were making profits, they now made it a real establishment, then he employed some of his friends. One of them came late one day and said, "Sir," he came late. Then, "Why did you come late?" He said, some Muslim brothers, it was in the US, they said we should play basketball, so they sent a game and they invited us. So I went to play basketball. You know, you won't say you should not play basketball with his brothers now. But they said, but you know the rule now. Once you come late, there will be this deduction. So it was the rule that they were fighting against, not friendship. Do we understand? The friendship was not at stake. We all agreed on this rule, and you violated the rule. So this is the punishment we all agree we go with it. It's not about me. So we should make our system to be about policies and laws, not about individuals adjudging cases. This person will say the other time you did this, you were unjust. Parents are expected to be just all the time. And my time is almost up. So quickly, I'll just share this. There's a school, I think in United Kingdom, on their valedictory day, they only give one award. It's a secondary school. They don't give best in mathematics, best in English, best in anything. You know the only gifts they give? They give award for the most kind. The most kind students get all the awards. Imagine if we implement it in our schools. Children will be kind to each other. Children will help each other to grow. Teachers also know that the most kind teacher will be the one to receive the award. Teachers will be kind to students. Teachers will be kind to themselves. Teachers will be kind to parents. When you bring kindness to the field, everybody becomes happy. Everybody becomes comfortable. Everyone becomes, brotherhood begins when you share kindness around. And it is important that we share kindness. In most of our graduation ceremonies, we give all the academic awards, then we just give other awards, most kind. And sometimes, because it's Abuja, you want to please all the parents, you even give awards to those that are not merited. No. Put the yardsticks in place. Let everybody know, even the blind should be able to see that indeed this is the most kind. And make the award a resounding award, an outstanding award. Your most kind teacher, get him a car. Yes, get your most kind teacher a car and see what will happen in your school next year. Get your most hardworking teacher. Get him a good laptop. Laptop worth 300,000. When I said get him a car, Madam Sonny, you know it's a proprietor. He said a car. Don't forget what I've said. My own mentor, that currently, probably till today, the school was the best secondary school in Nigeria, said, I budget first for my teachers. Not students, I budget first for my teachers. Because if my teachers are comfortable, my students will be comfortable and my school will be comfortable. So, the most, can we create the mental picture of a school that can afford this? I just mentioned car specifically, but a school that can afford or pay a teacher's house rent because it's the most kind. Buy a house if you have the money. Or a single teacher that is single, getting married, take on the expenses. Or you say any teacher that is married and has children and gets the award of the most kind, you bear all the children's school fees. They will compete like anything for that particular award. Do we understand? And who will be benefiting from that? The school. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.